At AFA Today.
We welcome you to suburban New York today. Kevin McCullough on location, and we are grateful that you're with us for today's edition of AFA Today. My personal schedule requires me to be away from the normal studios of AFA Today, and this programming note, we're going to be moving the studios from where you've seen them in recent days to a different location in Lower Manhattan. So it's going to be kind of exciting here over the next little while. You're going to see different backdrops and things are going to change, and the set's going to change if you're watching by way of the American Family Channel. But those of you on radio, you're not going to be able to tell a difference because I'm coming from wherever you're imagining it to begin with. 888-589-8840 is my number. Thank you for being here. And I have another programming announcement and treat. We've got too much packed into the broadcast. For the AFA Today lineup today, we're gonna talk about that incredible opportunity that we have been encouraging you to be part of with Gospel for Asia. We're going to discuss that coming up in the next segment. I've got so much news to get to that I haven't done it justice yet, and just concluded about a 35-minute long feature interview with Governor Mike Huckabee, who. Well, I heard him say that he's running for president. I don't know if anybody else heard him say that in the interview that I did, but that's a great teaser for tonight's Kevin McCullough Show, because we'll bring you that conversation, at least the bulk of it, on tonight's broadcast. But lots and lots and lots of things going on, and so thank you for your patience with all of them. And again, we are involved in the Gospel for Asia Christmas Critter campaign. AFA Today strongly encouraging you to go to the website. Click the big, red, beautiful button on afr.net. That is where you can go to the page that then opens up that shows you all the different things that a family that Gospel for Asia has the ability to reach needs or could touch. A pair of chickens, maybe some goats, some rabbits, water buffalo. If you're just scanning the dial on your radio this second, this sounds weird, I know, but hang in there. Water buffalo, pair of lambs, pair of pigs. See, if you did just hit the radio button right now and you just found this station, what is he talking about? A barnyard bundle, all that and more that you can participate in through the Gospel for Asia Christmas Critter campaign. And Devin Patrick will be with us in the next segment to talk about his observances of what AFA and GFA have done and why it matters. So we will talk with him about that in the next segment. But there's a lot of news to get to today. And I am grateful that you are there. I'm grateful every day that you're seeking to obliterate confusion, that you're seeking to amplify truth, and that you're seeking to find clarity. No matter where you're at, going, coming from, the idea that pursuing clarity is of utmost importance to you is a great, great encouragement to me because, friends, that's the only way that anything that we want to see change in this culture is actually going to happen. I must have said this 200 times in the last week, most of them off the air. If we want a different culture, we have to grow different people. And until we own that personally, until you and I decide enough's enough with the confusion, enough's enough with letting ourselves be mesmerized by everything that the culture has for us, enough's enough of just letting them dictate the narrative and say what truth is and what it isn't, when we decide that that is the end, then we will begin to see change. Because what we will do is we will begin to change ourselves, and as we work on ourselves individually, we will begin to impact the culture person by person, every person we have influence with. If we start to make changes, then what we will do is we will cause others to also want to make changes. So that's the goal. AFA Today, every day, removing confusion, amplifying truth, pursuing clarity. That's it. That's all we're seeking to do here, and I'm grateful that you're willing and eager to be with us each day as well. All right, so let me get to this. Number of headlines today, and this is a story that we first broke to you. I think we were the first in the country to talk about it on talk radio. But a number of weeks ago, I told you that Belgium was exploring the idea of allowing kids to have a say in their own decisions about ending their lives, quality of life, euthanasia, basically. Well, according to Charlie Butts reporting at onenewsnow.com, the Belgian Senate voted 50-17 in favor of a bill that would allow just that. 50-17, the Belgian Senate voted in favor, and these are in particular disabled kids, and they're going to send it to the lower chamber where the support for the concept is very strong. Alex Schadenberg heads the Euthanasia Prevention Coalition International, and he says the country has been heading in this direction since first legalizing euthanasia. It's a sad and terrible day. The Belgian people have been on this road for quite a while since legalizing euthanasia in 2002. The real message is once you allow doctors to have the right to kill their patients, that right is not limited. In fact, it continues to grow, and there will always be more reasons to ask for or to seek death by physician. The law is not being enacted because of the public support at all. Schadenberg says there is a much more sinister reason behind it. It's not about suffering, says the activist. It's about protecting doctors who are already doing this. We have to understand that doctors have chosen to do this already, and even though it was illegal, and now the doctors are asking for the law to change so that they can avoid prosecution for doing these illegal acts. Schottenberg told One News Now that before the legalizing assisted suicide and euthanasia is taking a slippery slope, but he now suggests that in Belgium they have gone off the cliff. As a side note, the Canadian province of Ontario is also trying to legalize euthanasia and is using Belgium as its legal model. Friends, this is, of all the stories that can get reported on today, and there will be a good number that people will say, oh, this is the most important, whether or not the budget passed, and how many in the test votes that came up to it, how many votes did they have? This may be what the news networks choose to focus on. But in terms of the importance, the moral importance, the significance of real news in the world today, whether or not you allow children to be killed early in life, this is a much bigger, much more important, much more morally impacting story in the world. In fact, it doesn't really get bigger than this when you think about this. And this is one of the reasons why, for those of you that say, well, abortion, you're always harping about abortion, Kev. Why can't you get past abortion? Because of the moral injustice that it perpetrates. Scripture couldn't be clearer. Let me just amplify truth a little bit here. Scripture couldn't be clearer in any language about anything that it discusses than in how clear it is about how children are to be treated. There are places replete in the Old Testament, in the Gospels, in the New Testament, where the welfare of children, the protecting of children's innocence, many things are put to the test. And the word that comes back from all of them is, don't harm kids. Don't be the people that harm children. In fact, in one place, if you decide to, if you harm so much as a hair on their head, if you seek to in that way undermine them to their detriment, to their destruction, that it's better for you to have a 2,000+ pound millstone hung around your neck and dropped into the ocean. Now that's pretty harsh words. That's a pretty ugly picture. You're talking about willfully drowning an adult in that picture. But that's how strongly the text of Scripture deals with the protection of children. And what is sad to see in both the Belgium story and in the modern abortion movement and what is happening there is that you have a lot of people that have just forgotten about that completely. You have a lot of people that just say, sorry, my life is still more important for me to live than anything else. Why people get pregnant, why people have children, if that's their mindset, is a little bit mystifying to me to begin with, unless to feed that ultra ego, they're just saying, well, I got to have a kid, like I got to have the new purse, or I got to have the new car or the new house. Well, it's the latest thing to have, so I got to have my kid. But friends, we are carefully instructed in Scripture not to treat children like that. Children are not assets. They are much beloved by God the Father. They are much beloved by Jesus Christ. And the expectation is that adults will protect the innocence and the welfare of children in this life. And I know that this may step on some toes, even in Christian circles. I don't care. But here's what I'm really getting to. If we vote in favor of politicians that advocate these kinds of policies, then we are engaging in the acts that are carried out against children with them. So, for instance, every person that voted in lockstep with Barack Obama to become president embraced his policy of wanting to see children who survive abortion then murdered after they are born into this world. Because that's what he voted for. Because that's his record. And that wasn't his record in mystery. That was his record before he ran for president. So people that didn't do the due diligence and say, I didn't know about that. How can you blame me for that? Your vote got him elected. Your vote still advanced his cause. So your vote stands as an accessory to those crimes. It stands as an accessory to those killings. The politicians that the people of Belgium put into their Senate, the 50 of them that voted in favor of telling doctors it's okay to kill disabled children, the people that voted for those 50 lawmakers that voted in favor of that, those votes and those people are standing with those lawmakers, even if they personally are uncomfortable with the idea. It doesn't matter. Once you voted for the guy, you're responsible for what he does. And if he did it before you voted, then you're even doubly responsible because it wasn't like you didn't know. It wasn't like you didn't have an opportunity to find out. This is why obliterating confusion and replacing it with truth always matters. If we vote from a confused state of mind, we may end up killing children that we never intended to kill. If we end up voting from a confused mind, we may end up having laws passed against us, having our religious freedoms taken away that we would have never voted in favor of. It doesn't matter, because once you vote for the politician who openly advocates for those things, you become as equally responsible for what he does as he does. And that may make a lot of people very less than enthusiastic about how they feel about this. But friends, at the end of the day, there's no way to argue that. We stand accountable for our actions, every one of our actions. We stand accountable for our votes. We stand accountable for how we raise our kids. We stand accountable for the laws that get passed in this land because we are the ones that are putting the ones who make the laws into place. And so if you don't like the nature of the culture, we have to begin to grow different people. We're not going to have a different country until we have different people. And we're not going to have different leadership until we vote for the right reasons. And if you're voting for free food stamps and free cell phones and free things like that, shame on you. Shame on you when children are being euthanized and you probably don't agree with it. When children are being aborted and you probably don't agree with it. When the health of the American family is being undermined from stem to stern and you probably don't agree with it, but you don't vote that way, shame on you. Your votes count. Your votes matter. The decisions that you make from getting up in the morning till the time you go to bed at night, it matters. Every decision that we make counts for something. There's a moral component to every decision that we make. And a parent's greatest job is to not feed their kids and provide for their kids and give their kids a great Christmas and take their kids on vacation. The greatest responsibility that a parent has is to teach their children how to make decisions as well. Removing confusion, because our culture's invested in keeping us confused. Amplifying truth, plugging into the source of truth, and pursuing clarity. That's the call of who we are today. I'm Kevin McCullough. Stay with us. This is AFA Today on AFR Talk.